System I/O. Now we're going to be dealing with streams when we're talking about System I/O, which stands for input-output, the information flow. Streams are the fundamental idea behind input-output. We can talk about synchronous and asynchronous streams. Asynchronous is going to allow us to go in both directions, meaning we can read and write at the same time. We don't have to wait for something to finish. This is dealing with asynchronous and synchronous communication as the same. Synchronous is one direction. You have to wait for the message to be received or sent before you can continue with the other operation. Asynchronous, both directions. Asynchronous and synchronous also deal with the communication level, meaning you don't have to wait for a response, or you can continue doing something else when you're doing asynchronous communication, and then synchronous you have to wait. So those are the differences between the two. Buffered and unbuffered streams. You can work within a buffering type effect, and this is going to allow you to send a certain amount of bytes, and this will cut down on the overall read and writes that you may expect. Unbuffered is going to do it as it's needed. There is a generic stream class, and this is a generic view of a sequence of bytes. We'll take a look at that. Now, System I/O is really big. I'll say it again, but it's really big. And you're going to really like it, really enjoy it. It's something that you can use a lot or a little, like a lot of different things within .NET, but it really is something that is going to make you quite happy if you have to do it on a regular basis, or it's your job functionality to work with System I/O, because it really is a treat when you actually get to do things in a very easy way when you understand it in a good way, and you can actually implement a lot of the different classes, as we're going to see. Now, I/O is also for dealing with files and directories, so not just streams. A stream class, this is an abstract base class, and this is going to be for your raw input and output. Just some more definitions before we jump into what the methods are. Now, stream class is going to support methods for reading and writing bytes. There are derived classes as well, not just for working with files. You do have a file stream, memory stream, and network stream, and this is going to allow you to work with files, memory, and network conditions. Now, this generic stream class, this is a generic view of a sequence of bytes. Important to stick that in there. A generic view of a sequence of bytes. Okay, so you can read and write byte sequences using these read and write method. This can use a buffer, or it could be unbuffered. You can read and write one byte at a time using read byte or write byte, and again, this can be unbuffered or buffered depending on what you need. Flush is going to send pending outputs to the device. This is just going to flush everything out. And then you have a close method, and this is going to free resources that are associated with this stream. Of course, having a close method means that you also have an open method, and this is going to allow us to open a particular file and set a variable to what we need to enable us to use it within that constraint of the particular object. We'll see that as well. But close is very important, and we'll talk about that as well. Directory and directory info classes are available. These allow you to create, move, explore, and delete directories. Now, when you're dealing with the directory info, you're only working with instance methods, only contains instance methods. We'll see these. There's a file and file info class, and these are the same as the directory classes, but they're dealing with files. So you can get and manipulate your directories with the directory classes, and then your files with the file classes. Easy to work hand in hand with those. There's also a text reader and writer. These are going to deal with character-based input and output. And then you can see you have your typical read and read line, and your write and your write line. Peek allows you to look forward a certain amount of characters, and it's very interesting to work with the peek method as well. We have file stream, which I mentioned. This easily read-writes your binary data to a stream. It's structured binary data that you're going to write to a stream. The binary reader and writer allows you to read and write to and from streams as well, similar to the text reader and writer, where the stream is similar to the file stream. There's a buffered stream, which allows you to reduce the number of read-writes, like I mentioned, when you buffer your data. There's a memory stream, which is really cool because you're able to work in a similar way to all of these streams, but you'll be working in memory. So like I said, System I/O is pretty huge. So you do want to explore the documentation, explore the classes that are contained within, and I think you're going to really, really enjoy what you're going to have there. Very deep support for working with streams. You don't have to reinvent the wheel and write all of this code yourself. Nice and neat.